Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we have a really cool list to be playing today. We have Orzhov Lifegain. Aggro has been everywhere and we have been trying to counteract that, and fighting on the ladder gets pretty hard with aggro being every single matchup a lot of times with the splash of blue-white control here and there. Also, I think I found a really good home for Massacre Girl with this one. Normally you want to play things like Virtue of Persistence and other effects to give -X/-X in order to draw cards with Massacre Girl, but I think attacking with an Amelia and a Voice of the Blessed that's very massive and our opponent's forced to block, drawing us cards with Massacre Girl. We have a great example of that in one of these games coming up, but we do use Gumdrop Poisoner and a Virtue of Persistence to kind of get that value when needed. Outside of that, we play a really strong value game and use Amelia and Voice as our top end, along with the Shielded and Massacre Girl herself. So let's just get out here and see how these games go and see how much life we can truly gain against all these aggro decks. Because if it's like play Amelia, they play land, they play Godric, they'll attack with Charming Scoundrel plus Godric and then let their Swift Spear go through. Now they have to make the kind of hard decision of, do we get rid of this Amelia now? But they have to take damage, which shouldn't be that relevant to them. They should be perfectly fine with taking the 3 damage. That's the only downside. I'm gonna let all this go through. I think Amelia getting way larger is much better for us. Play land. This here. But just answer the Charming Scoundrel, and I think the question is yes. Yeah, I'll answer this. R1, we hit a land, which was actually kind of unfortunate for us. So we'd much rather have had this get slightly bigger so it could just block the Bloodthirsty Adversary even if they monster rage it. Now, a little part of me thinks we might have to block just to kind of save face for a second. And then we'll just play an Extraction Specialist, bringing it back, gaining 2 life. And then we can Gix command. So they lightning strike me. Okay. Sure. Second Virtue is actually really clean too. Do I just stick with my game plan or do I change my game plan? Massacre Girl is not the best. At least right now. If it was a 4 or 5, I would slam it immediately. But I think we just go for Extraction Specialist and then grab Amelia back. So what's really cool is you can stack the ETB triggers where case will enter the case trigger will go in a stack, and then you can bring the creature back first. So this comes back, then we gain the life. Now we get 2 of these. We can go ahead and bend that. We could have left it to make this a little bit bigger, but during land draw from the rest of the game on, it's actually probably really crucial. Now Gix command can be used to pop this. Listed Frailty, okay. That's 6. I kind of have to block. Much rather have my 3/2 lifelinker back, because it just basically counters that turn anyway. But now we can play a plains. I would love to get this down and then play this, but it's just not possible right now. We'll deal 3 there, get that off the battlefield. Call it a good day. I'll take my 1. Sure, why not? And I'm just going to go ahead and play this as a 3/2 lifelinker. Gain a little bit more life back. Submit 0 as my target. Then attack for 3. Now we're up to 11. This is now solved. I can crack it and play stuff from my graveyard at any point, like Amelia. But shouldn't be that big of a deal from here on out to close out this game, I think. I have 6 life on the board, which puts them down to 14, puts us up to 17. My turn. Sure. Play land. Play case. Play Massacre Girl. Double life gain here. Combat. Double attack. And which Stalker Frenzy if they'd like. Not that opposed. Now they're both solved. So now I can always play stuff from my graveyard. Might never draw a card in this matchup, but I do like having Massacre Girl for the said grindy matchups, if you would. They're sticking around though. They think they can beat us. We're already at 19 though. They're on 1 card a turn. I mean, sure. That's 7. Down to 12. It was pretty close, but no luck thus far. So we'll do that. I don't even care, honestly. Hit. A 4. I guess was it lethal? Not quite. Oh wait, it was lethal. I have this Restless Fortress. Oops. Let's play this. We'll pass. I was at a 3-2. That's weird. Yeah, I forgot I had the Restless Fortress, so I could have just well, I couldn't do both, I guess. I would have set him to 1. Same thing. We got there regardless. It was garbage time, so I was kind of just like trying to get the game over as quick as possible. All right, we go first. Very cool. Very cool. Weirdly, we have to play the tap lane first, but I think this hand's definitely keepable. Do this, and then we'll play land. We'll play this like Death Toucher here. Oh, it's poison. Guess what? Lifegain doesn't matter against. Nice. All right, so what do we do here? Do we just get this off the board? It puts poison on us immediately. I'm gonna play a 2/2 Death Toucher, I think. Just have them kind of figure it out from here. 12, sure. Play another thing is kind of what I want. Bounce spell, sure. Maybe I didn't really want that, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. We take 1 poison. I mean, I don't know if you can kind of name a worse matchup for us here, but let's play just in case, you know, the thing to gain life against the thing that doesn't care about your life total. We'll take 1 more poison. We have to get Scrub off the battlefield. Call it a day. And then you could argue we do it the other way around, but I would assume there was going to be something. What on earth is that? Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under control, you may play 2 if you do proliferate. Not a fan of that. Gumdrop Poisoner won't get it done. And next turn though, because of this. The only problem is if they bounce it, I'm toast here pretty much. I'm pretty much toast based on the flyer right now alone. Grove Hive actually kind of slows it down a little bit. I only take 1 up to 4. I mean, we can get up there pretty quick, to be honest with you. So we do this. This is when it dies. Now we'll play Gumdrop. We'll gain 3. So all these we want all these to resolve first and then the Gumdrop. So we target here. And it's not a spell, therefore like it doesn't work that way. We'll attack for 2. This can't get pumped because it's a 1/2, not a 1/1. Now we have a Gumdrop. They can trade it off if we want. They can bounce it, but Gumdrop's not really the card you want to be bouncing too often. It is a free removal spell for us in that regard. What do we want to do here? Like, my brain's screaming that we have to attack. I just don't think we can wait, so we attack. Yep, and then we play Veteran. I mean, gain all its life, but again, this is like one of the frustrating parts about this matchup is if this was any other normal aggro deck, we'd be sitting really, really good. But because it's not, we're sitting pretty far behind because the life gain doesn't matter too much. We're all the way up to 32. Cases have been solved. They're really more of a bounce deck strategy than they are anything else. Although I guess to some extent, unless they have bounce spells, we can kind of force them to trade off some of our stuff if we want. Because of these being relevant. These will be 3/2s, the 1/1s will, and then Rot Priest is what we'll have to block regardless. Oh boy. A double attack. And do I care? My shoulder just popped. I don't know if that was heard very well, but definitely popped really bad. I'm gonna block 1, I think. Force him to pump it and leave this veteran behind. Although I could have just like, maybe I'm supposed to just prevent poison at all cost, especially considering I can crack one of these cases and just jam the creatures after. And that does take away some of their mana. Although if they do have counterspell, or the counterspell that they do play, doesn't really matter. They're gonna get it regardless. Combat isn't going to solve any outlying questions that we have, but again, we still have to attack, I think. Just a race from now. We're essentially at 10, and they'll be at 10 after this. I'm gonna try to slam a Shieldred, but I don't know if it'll work. I think they have counterspell in hand, and I think that answers my question. No? Okay. Well, go above 40 and still maybe lose. Let's end turn here. This is a bounce spell. It's also like equally as devastating. But we'll definitely trade off the veteran here because we'll have to. They'll draw for turn, maybe. I guess they could have a bounce spell now. Go to 7. They have 4 life that they could gain. We really just hope they're flooding more than anything else. Oh, they just have March. It's over if they have March. Yep. Not waiting on the triggers to happen. My opponent goes first. This hand is like completely unplayable. So we maul. This hand is significantly better, so we'll keep. The only card that's not playable in the hand is Shieldred, because we also only have 1 black mana, so we're not guaranteed to hit another one. Could hit a plains. This seems like Boros. Shocker. Red-white land, it's Boros. I was more or less meaning convoke. I was trying to call out the actual deck archetype instead. Now it's like here with that land drop, maybe it's the burn deck, who knows. Let's fire off a bat. I like playing bat here because we do have a mana. Okay, it's definitely convoke. Sick. It should be a matchup we win, especially after my claim of against Bant Poison here. Immodane's good. Tackle's significantly good. I don't trust him not to rip a land here because Boros players are luck sacks. Ready? Ready? No blocks. This almost counters this by itself and just attacking. Of course, they have another one of these, so they're going to hold it back. But here, we play Nganjo. I play Veteran. And then I play Amelia. Could argue to do it backwards because then it would gain like a little bit of life, but it'll still trigger twice here and become potentially a massive creature. It's very possible we draw a land. Play 24. We have 3 in hand. It's likely that we draw land. Oh, Lightning Helix was your rip? Okay. Well, we're at 23. It's fine with me, I guess. And there's the 3rd mana, so now we know their hand. Their hand's kind of like mid at best. I mean, for what we're playing, their hand is kind of mid at best. At least I think so. What do we do now? I could just gumdrop and pop something, which I actually kind of like doing. Then that will potentially help get our case back here in a little bit. Or I can just play this Death Toucher, which I also like doing. And then playing Gumdrop will gain 4 life. Yeah, let's do that. Also, it's a 2-2, so they can't just attack me with 1/1s anymore. Like, I know this is a 3-2 and also has lifelink, but I'm at 22, feeling pretty solid. Back with my bat. Hit, gain life. They're going to play this. Even if they play Recruiter here, we can almost just tank the whole thing. It, like, just doesn't matter. But most likely, we'll see, like, Frontliner come in. Recruiter pop off. The only reason we would really want to start trading some stuff off is to make sure that they don't get to go Recruiter in the Recruiter. But we should still be able to gain so much life. It probably doesn't matter. Not like super confident on this, but feel like we're pretty good thus far. Like also like this only gives 1-0, so the Veteran can just throw a block for now. If I have to throw this in front, I will. Oh, so they're taking a little bit of a weird route. Lightning Helix is no longer available. Sure. They're doing a little chip here. I'll let the chip go through. This will be exiled. I don't care. Errands. Okay. Play this. Gain life. Play this. Gain 3 life. Just target. I guess they're only red creature. Then go to combat. Attack. Gain even more life. This now triggers, so now we can play the Amelia if we want. And if we sack that, play Amelia, there will be 2 triggers on the stack plus 2 combat attack triggers. So if they don't have an answer for it, depending what's on the top of our library, it means like our creatures can get massive. They pay. Those are 2/2s. Pass. My turn. They do not even attack. Okay. That's interesting to say the least. So one of 2 things can happen. I can play Extraction Specialist, which I like a lot because it's another lifelinker defender and it kind of brings back this Amelia for free. But I would also love to play this, but I think actually playing Specialist, and what gets to happen is Specialist triggers. We bring it back. We have 3 life gain triggers on the stack. Extraction Specialist will bring back Amelia, putting 3 more on the stack. So Amelia gets to go all the way up to 8 if there's a card on top. Sweet. Yep. Yep. Cool. This last one. And that. Now we have an 8/8 Amelia. Then attack here. And I'm cool with just holding the line. I do not care that much. I'm exactly 20. Another Amelia on top. They are legendary. I will just let it go. Then we can pass here. Then next turn, like, we'll throw Extraction Specialist in front of pretty much any creature whatsoever. Play a Warden. I don't know if they have time to start tapping and scrying, because then I'm going to start shipping in members of my team, and considering most of them have lifelink, I feel pretty confident in my ability to get them through and attacking. Especially because damage happens like 3 separate times. Therefore, I think this trigger 3 times. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so. Mid-range Recruiter now seems whatever, I guess. I don't think we see them attack though. You got to remember this is slightly smaller. Just keep the scry to the top. They already knew what it was, so they weren't going to really change their mind that much. It's a 4/5. They have a card in hand. They didn't play a land, so I kind of like playing Deep Cavern Bat. Sacrifice decays creature card. It's only creatures. Okay. So, I mean, Shieldred's obviously good, but Bat's also super sick. So, let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a look. Sure. I guess we take Lethal Demolition. Akanuma. Draw. On top. Gumdrop Poisoner is fantastic. This is all the way up to 11. I'll just play the Takanuma. Combat pretty much. Attack and attack. Make my life just an unsurmountable kind of wasteland here. I should have only attacked maybe with the Extraction Specialist, but they gave me reasons not to. Here. Here. I do have to be careful. This Amelia is getting pretty close to happening. Now we'll sacrifice this. Go, and we'll just go ahead and slam this back down. Getting a lot more life, targeting here. And all the way at 44, and the Amelia will pop and then one-shot them, potentially. On the next coming turn, I just play a Shieldred. There's a permanent on top. Won't really matter. What do you got for me, opponent? Passing, I don't think gets it done, but I'm not the boss. Shieldred. Gain a life, gain a life. 1. do. Then after combat here, they'll get all their cards back because every creature will die, so we just attack all out. We're wanting to maximize the amount of damage they'll take off of trading their creatures from our Pilgrim. Lightning Helix. Great. Lose one. They're down to 12. It is not playable now. Blanc. I guess I shouldn't have played Shieldred yet. I should have went to combat first. That was a big punt by me. I'm now learning. Don't worry. Yeah. So, then this. We get a little lucky here, and we actually did. 19. Yeah. We're at 53. I don't think there's a way that we ever get kind of bodied out of this game. There's one to kind of play it out, I guess. But it is what it is. I would like my Amelia to trigger, maybe not. I can't make it attack yet, so I actually have to gain the life before declared attackers. And there's not really a way to do that. So if that's the case, skip them. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna gain a life on ETB. Forgot all those creatures got traded off. You want my honest opinion? Doesn't really matter. We just attack to do as much damage as possible. Gain life. This is another game where I'm also just like, I feel like I'm in garbage time, so I'm just kind of like doing stuff at random. Yeah, sure. This one. That one, these ones. I have a 25-25. Even if they stole my creature and hit me with it, I would not die. And this triggered, so I can play my entire graveyard. Kudos for playing it out. I mean, maybe they haven't seen this deck before, and they're just like, oh, that's cool, I want to see it. But when you get to a certain point, you kind of just like, I'm just in autopilot mode. I'm just trying to like get to the games and win at that point. Like, I was just playing stuff at random, doing stuff at random. It just didn't matter. Boros convoke again. Okay, well they are on the place. They have good chances, and what a rip indeed it is to help us gain life and maintain a healthy life total. Why we play this cave, play this pilgrim, take a life, gain a life, and then we play this gumdrop poisoner to kind of pop something out of our way, and we get to do that because of the shattered sanctum here. Attack we pitch doesn't generally make a lot of sense to. Oh mama. I kind of like just playing a 3/3, but they could lightning helix it, so I think we wait one more turn. Obviously they could lightning helix this, but I think I give myself optimal chances to make a 4/4 that's not lightning helixable. And this is a death toucher, so even attacks aren't necessarily that great into it. But maybe they'll hold off. Maybe they don't have anything. Maybe they're not playing lightning helix. Some Boros lists do, some Boros lists don't. Maybe they're willing to sacrifice a creature here to kind of throw a card away. There's a recruiter. They're missing a land then. I feel like there's no way you pitch a recruiter if you don't have land. We let this hit. We're not that in danger right now, I don't think. Gumdrop is good. Is Gumdrop better than Voice here? Just to get this NT off the battlefield? I kind of think so. Yeah, I kind of like getting this NT off the battlefield more than anything else. So let's just play this Shattered Sanctum, and then play this Gumdrop. We'll target the NT, we'll gain 2 life, and then Gumdrop will off this. Life, Gumdrop popped. Don't really plan on blocking too much, but I don't think it hurts to hold back against this matchup. We just kind of sit here and farm out our hand, and then we just play this fortress. After we play this voice, gain 2 life. It goes up to a 4/4. We attack with the gumdrop poisoner, make it a 5/5. Oh, Massacre Girl's actually sick. Massacre Girl's so sick here. But I do think I want to stick to the game plan. Play a voice. Trigger. Go up to 4 on this. And then I kind of like just attacking here and making this a 5/5. And my opponent says I've had enough. So this is the matchup where I think Massacre Girl is good. I don't necessarily play a lot of spells that trigger Massacre Girl. But here, if they attack at all, these are going to have wither damage. So these are going to get put to negative whatevers. And I'm going to draw for every single block, every single attack that they have to block. They don't get to just chump. We start drawing a ton of cards. For example, if they wanted to kill this here, like say we play Massacre Girl and this dies for some reason. And they're like, we want to kill this off. We need to double block it. This would do -1, -2 to one of these. And then I would end up drawing 2 cards, lose this. But replacing my hand with 2 more cards is so good. And then we have this growing, which is pretty unstoppable for them unless they're playing like the active treason type effects. I think there's like 2 legal and standard right now. But this is where I think Massacre Girl is good. Getting these big giant creatures that they're forced to chump block. And then Massacre Girl keeps drawing his cards to keep playing out threats and hitting our land drops and whatnot. Ugh. No real life gainer in hand. Like, decent hand overall. We just need to hit a land drop. I like it. Could be one of the hands that backfire real bad. Well, I mean, that's a pretty good land to start off with. I like that a lot because now I get to play cave, play voice, get it destroyed, play an extraction specialist, bring voice back. Tenacious underdog, which is cool for sure. Play this case. Maybe do I just pop this? Graveyard Trespasser going to be good. Maybe. Play out the voice right now. I do think making this massive and potentially getting it online early is going to be nice, but the only problem is I do feel as though they'll have removal or like a Liliana or something. Or Virtue. That also makes sense. We get hit for 3, go up to 22. We hit another nice solid land drop. Play Extraction Specialist, bring that thing back. Now we're chilling pretty good. We play Shatter Sanctum, we play Case, we play Gumdrop. Maybe go to combat first. Or we can even Virtue a creature and do some stuff like that after. Oh, removing it in a weird way. We let this combat hit. They miss a land drop. That's pretty dope. I like that. Let's move to combat. Let's attack. Let's hit for 3. Let's just make it hard on them. Let's slam a Shieldred first. The Shieldred can block this, plus they're missing a land drop. Take their draw, which is smart. Even if they have a removal spell, you might want to go ahead and take a land drop. Cool. I assume this has to be a sacrifice. They're going to hold back the underdog. Sure, let's just have the specialists go, because obviously Shieldred's really nice. It actually allows us to do some messed up stuff first. So, do we just go ahead and pull off the Wither plan now? They are missing a land, so this Liliana is going to hurt them more than it's going to hurt us, I think. So, let's play Massacre Girl. I guess I should have played the case first, but whatever. Attack Liliana. And it's going to hit, and now we're going to draw a card. I guess it's dealt negative counters. Sweet. Now we have kind of like discard fodder here. Second case is good, but this matchup isn't really going to be calling for it. Now they have to deal with a menace creature plus a Shieldred. They go up to 5 cards in hand, I believe. Yeah. A little bit hard to see this one. They hit land drop. Nice. Do you play a Shieldred of your own? They do. It doesn't work out well for them. They don't know that yet. Then we just pick up their Shieldred in general. We have Gumdrop drop this plus Virtue on that, so we'll get to draw an additional card. We let this case go. Graveyard Trespasser, we draw. We gain 2 life. Shielded children. Could just bat, but it's not really worth it right now, I think. Virtue. Gumdrop. We target here. It'll be way under, so Massacre Girl is going to trigger again. I'm really glad to see that we're getting Massacre Girl kind of effects to happen here. Attack here, attack here. Down to 11 for our opponent, 2 cards in hand. That's now triggered. We can now play creatures from our graveyard if it comes to that. Amelia being good to play, plus sack that, marrying another creature back here. They go ahead and concede. Makes sense. It's not really going to be all that great for them. Overall, I would say we go first. I like that. I think that's cool. I like going first. Play Plains, we'll play Takanuma, play Deep Cavern Bat, then play a Voice after we hit, then hit them with the bat, grow a Voice to a 3/3. So, I mean, that's the plan, whether we get there or not. Mono blue, okay. Throw up the bat, take a little gander. Could be blue-white, or my... what on earth is happening? This destroys target tap creature. That's some Magic the Gathering card we can play. Man, the answer is just pretty fine. This is fine. Go for the throw. It's the most clean answer, but they don't have a black mana. They don't even have a white or... I'm taking Celestis. I don't know what their hand is, man. Unless they found something just now. Play here. We just bat them again. I feel like there's not really a point to that. I would much rather slam Amelia here, I think. And then gain some life and surveil. Maybe hopefully hit that land that we want. Maybe. But I assume this just has to be their demand answers. This is also sorcery speed, so we don't really care that much. Sweet. That goes up to a 3/3. This is most likely going to be the most grindy matchup we have. It depends, I guess. They kind of have to, like... There it is. Okay. Well, what's the plan? Go for the throat something? Not go for the throat something? How we feeling? Okay. Cool. You paying 3 life? Do. Fine with me. Massacre Girl is pretty cool. You just bring that right back, right? Like that. Let's go ahead and bring it back. Now it's in play. Now we attack. Hopefully we can hit a land here. Great. It's tapped, which is like whatever. It doesn't really matter too much to us. We do have to be a little bit careful of a board wipe at some point. Double removal spell. Again, this is a sorcery. So go for the throat is live. I kind of want to put a spell in the stack that's so important that they feel more obligated to answer it than go for the throw anything else on my board. So I can do that with Deep Cavern Bat, I think. Yeah, let's go ahead and bat them. Now they're forced to kind of figure out what they want to do. If they answer Extraction Specialist, so be it. Bat can come in and kind of pick off their hand, maybe. The big question on maybe. Decision for our opponent. The 6 mana big score. Definitely taking the big score. Now, surprised not see him just barrel it. Because like I can only take one of these and then they can pop it. But if they have to use this to do it, because we take the go for the throat, doesn't feel necessarily as good for them. Now we play a voice. They have 2 creatures in there, so this is live. But they're not going to be able to slam the big score right now. They can do it next turn, but double attack. Love there to be a scenario in which the Shielder was able to be in play after they kill my bat with the big score. We're looking to gain 4 life here. Maybe. Baby. Tough spot for them. For sure. They take the Celestis and then I guess I don't know too much about that call. It's a little questionable, I think, to an extent. Land play Celestis here, I would have to imagine. And then they're just hoping to play this next turn. Cool. Get that. Gain life for here. Gain shielded here. Gain life once. Counters up. That there. Deep Cavern Bat. I'm going to keep it there just to gain a little bit more counters here. Down to 4. They have to find a kind of devastating play here. Counter. Bat 1. Bat gone. Now solved. And the bats in the yard will be fine because I can crack this case and play both bats. Or even if they deal with my board, I can bring back Extraction Specialist, bring back something important. This now has flying that they have to answer. They play land. I assume this is just bring back the 2 creatures. But again, if they don't answer Shieldred, which I'm not entirely sure if they can, I can also just pass. But they did have Odawara, but they played it. Demand answers. Would you like to cast it? Okay. Is this just a mitt of defeat? Yep. I was going to say, you don't have to cast that. Discover does not force you to cast it. You can also most of the time hit decline. Because Arena does take into account that you might have clicked it by accident, thinking you had to cast it, but there we don't have to. All right, so I want to talk about one of the big things right away, and I definitely got inspiration from this list from CGB for sure. I saw him play. I think its deck list was, oh my god, something mono red in shambles or something like that, and I was like, man, that list is really cool. What can I do with that? Make it just like a little bit different, or like I wanted to try it in general, and then a light bulb hit, and I said, man, that list looks really good to put the Massacre Girl in. So I didn't change much, to be honest with you. I think realistically the only changes I had is I trimmed a couple of cards to put this card in. I think there was 2 Gix commands and 1 less virtue or something as well, and like maybe more shielders or something. I really don't remember what the cuts were, but regardless, there's 2 ways for my brain to approach Massacre Girl and the value it can get. So I can pull it up here in case maybe you haven't read it yet. You're kind of realizing that the new set's out. Maybe you've been focused on doing some of the RCs. If you don't know, the regional championships are going on right now. If this video will be live at 3 EXT. So if you do get to see it on Twitch, and I think maybe on YouTube, I'm not entirely sure, but definitely on Twitch for sure. If you go to the Magic channel, the regional qualifier for Modern will be going on if you're interested at all. But Massacre Girl tickled my brain in a way that I enjoyed a lot. I think the card's very cool. I like the Wither mechanic a lot as well. It's got kind of the Infect mechanic, not Poison. Infect and Poison are 2 different things. But there's 2 ways to approach this card. You can play things that give -X counters, like drop Poisoner. Good answer, you know, put -X. Or you can use things like Virtue or Persistence, which is -3/-3, because those will trigger the Massacre Girl if you do kill a creature, because obviously you have to get it less than 1 toughness, which will be 0, or less, like if it's a 1/1 and you Virtue it and it's a -2/-2, it still triggers Massacre Girl. But why, with only 6 spells, would we play Massacre Girl in this list? Great question. Very, very valid question. Our creatures are so massive. And one of the biggest problems with this deck that I noticed from the past is just little chump blockers. Your Amelia could be, like, say you made it to 2020. You didn't kill him that turn for some reason. Maybe you did it all in 1 turn. They just chump block it for days. You know, they just throw little 1/1s in front of it. You have no trample. You have to kind of get it out of the way with a gumdrop, and you do all these complex things to get it to happen. But instead, what if every time they blocked, we also drew a card? So Amelia being a 6/6, Gumdrop Poisoner -X things, getting it out of the way. Our Voice of the Blessed, say we only have it as a 5/5 thus far, but they block with a 3/2. I think the best example of what I was trying to show off with this deck list was against Mono Black, where they had to block with Tenacious Underdog to block out a Shieldred with a Liliana in play because they wanted to protect their Liliana to maybe try to make me discard my hand so they can get back into the game. But the problem is, with Massacre Girl now, we hit their creature, we drew a card, and we said, cool, now we have one more card to deal with, and your Liliana is perfectly fine. We'll just go from there. And then as the game progressed on and on, our creatures were getting bigger and bigger. They couldn't play anything to trade. It got to the point that when they played a Shieldred, if they blocked, we were still going to draw a card with our Massacre Girl because the Shieldred would die and it would go under that toughness count, and we would draw a card with Massacre Girl, and that's not something that they can really keep up with. And it was just really nice. I think one of the best things to do with this deck list is play a card like this that can keep cards in your hand, keep your tempo up, because you can always have a good starter, draw a couple lands in a row, dead in the water, you'll lose the game. They end up burning you out, or like Golgari removes all your threats and you're just dead in the water, you can't really do anything. But like in Golgari, for example, what's so good about Mosswood Dread Knight is we barrel it in. We're like, here's our 3/2, it has trample, we'll hit you a little bit, we'll cycle it again to draw a card, we don't really care, and then we'll replay it. We can keep doing that over and over and over again. But now we get to kind of accomplish the same goal if a Massacre Girl is in play with that. I know it's a little bit more complicated because you have to rely on 2 creatures. We get to accomplish the same goal where we're attacking with the Voice that's huge, we're attacking with the Amelia that's huge, and then they have to block, just kills their creatures, and we get to draw with Massacre Girl and keep putting cards in our hand over and over and over again. So that was the main thing when I saw the deck list, because obviously when a new set comes out, you can't really fathom building every single deck list, so you just kind of like look around, everybody takes inspiration off everybody. And when I saw this deck list and how aggressive the meta is currently right now, I was like, sweet, I get to play Amelia, one of my favorite cards ever printed, because I think it's so cool. I love the Explorer mechanic. I started with Wild Growth Walker and like Jade Light Ranger in Standard, so that's like when I started. So the Explorer mechanic kind of has like a personal home with me. That's when I started playing Magic. So to get the thing that gains life and just get to swift kick Mono Red in the teeth, good day, you know what I'm saying? Just a real good day for us. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed. I think the deck list outside of that is pretty self-explanatory to an extent, maybe not. Deck decisions, why are these maybe here? Like maybe play more Shieldred, who really knows? I like having this. I almost like having the other board wipe more than this because I like using that surgical extraction if needed. Can't think of what it's called right now, but then I also like this card. Like, if you've watched my channel for any time at all, you know I love this card. So very cool. I enjoyed the list. And if you're looking for craft guides, I've had a lot of people kind of be like, oh, so you're saying craft it. A lot of times I'll never advocate crafting something to win a game, because at the end of the day, you craft to enjoy the game and try to win at the same time. But this is a rather expensive deck. We're pretty soft to blue-white. I think we're probably soft to domain as well. You saw that we also lost to poison. Soft means, by the way, in my terminology, is like, it's not the best matchup of all the time. We can win them. Like, I think against domain, we can win them. Like, Amelia can by far one-shot them, and we do play a lot of things that gain a lot of life and do it very quickly at times. So we can kind of one-shot domain, but it does take a very long time, and it is kind of tough. We just have to dodge like the leyline bindings and things like that, or sunfalls. But I think the problem with this matchup, this deck, is the sunfall mechanic, and Massacre Girl ends up being dead in those games as well. So it's what it is. But I mean, against Boros, against humans, against Mono Red, any kind of lower to the ground aggro deck. I haven't played against Golgari with this list, but I have to imagine it's not that bad. It's just spot up removal, and spot up removal does kind of suffer from extraction specialists alone. So I do enjoy the list. I hope everybody had a good time watching, but here is the breakdown pretty much. I didn't even split these up, I guess, if you want to see even more. Commons, uncommons, rares, mythics. Actually, a lot of mythics. All these are mythics. These are rare lands. These are uncommon lands. So it's definitely a pricey list to get into. I don't recommend it unless you kind of have it all. Definitely don't spend the bank on this. I do think it's really good against what it's good against. I do think sometimes it does suffer from matches it's really bad against. So be incredibly careful. If you have most of this, the deck list is fun. I mean, we were at 60 against an aggro deck. I felt pretty good about that. So I hope you all enjoyed wherever you're watching. I hope you have a nice, wonderful evening, day, or night, however you are spending your day watching my video. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.